well above the state's current minimum of $15.50 an hour. CNBC's Kate Rogers live in San Francisco. This would be a big win for fast food workers, looks like.
That's right, Chap. Advocates say the bill's passing is a major win for workers that will improve the industry's conditions in a meaningful and sweeping manner if signed into law. It comes at a time when organized labor has been successful across the food sector, from Starbucks to Chipotle and Trader Joe's. Fast food chains are notoriously difficult to organize due to high turnover and franchisee ownership.
Now, according to officials in San Antonio, Texas, there will be considered a proposal to use $50 million of revenue from the city-owned utility to provide rebates to customers. Energy bills have soared for people in Texas in recent months, as record-breaking heat forced them to use more electric. As a result, the city's revenue from CPS Energy is expected to be $75 million higher than expected. The city manager, Eric Walsh, said the city collects 13% of revenue that the utility brings in. The credit will be based on the customer's July bill, with the proposal suggesting the credit reduced from the future bill should be around 13% of what was paid in July. Walsh said the average bill for residential customers rose to $230 in July, meaning they could expect a rebate of about $31. Walsh also told reporters, "This is not going to wipe away anybody's outstanding balances. It's not going to pay anybody's complete utility bill. It is the city as the owner of CPS, recognizing the extraordinary position that everyone finds themselves in and doing our part." Now, Illinois representatives have also co-sponsored a bill to give Americans with monthly rebate checks, help them defray the escalating cost of gas, with a windfall profit tax being levied against oil companies. According to the Stop Gas Price Gouging Tax and Rebate Act, introduced by Peter DeFazio, single Americans making less than $75,000 annually, or those filing jointly, will be eligible for the monthly advance and refundable rebate checks. Representative Underwood said in a statement, "Every day I hear from my constituents about how rising prices are impacting their quality of life. They deserve relief, which is why I helped introduce the legislation to put money into the pockets of families, to help them afford groceries and energy costs, while also holding greedy oil companies and gas companies accountable." Biden has already confirmed that he is considering a tax holiday. In an interview on ABC News, the Treasury Secretary,
"I've not met a cop who likes a bad cop. There's bad in everything. There's lousy senators, there's lousy presidents, there's lousy doctors, there's lousy lawyers. No, I'm serious. But I don't know any police officer that feels good about the fact that there may be a lousy cop. I'm tired of not giving the kind of help they need. Folks, look."
Now, some of you guys may not automatically get your fourth check. There are also huge changes to monthly benefits that may be coming next month. New delivery dates have been confirmed by state officials, and here is your daily update for your fourth stimulus check. A nationwide outage was reported with the SNAP program, leaving more than 1 million people without the ability to use their benefit transfer cards to make payments at retail stores. Agencies in Massachusetts and South Carolina reported on Sunday that customers are unable to make purchases with their electronic benefit transfer cards. The South Carolina Department of Social Services wrote in a Twitter post that it is aware of processing issues of electronic benefit transfer cards due to a third-party processor outage impacting programs in multiple states. The department later tweeted out that all the systems were restored, resolving the processing issues. The Massachusetts Department of Transitional Assistance also said in a Twitter post that electronic benefit transfer card processing in the state was affected, but later said that the issue was resolved. Several U.S. states have officially announced that they will offer additional SNAP benefits to eligible families. Households who meet the requirements for the extra food stamps will get these emergency allotments next month in the state's bid to provide families in need with financial aid. This assistance is intended to help households struggling to make ends meet as a result of joblessness or decreased hours of work following the crisis. Earlier this month, Governor Abbott announced that the state will provide more than $300 million in food benefits for 1.5 million Texas households. Now, Governor Abbott told reporters it is imperative that every family across our state has access.
Let me conclude by saying this. This is not going to waste money, what we're talking about each year doing. It's going to grow the economies. It's going to keep us in a position where we are the most advanced economy in the world, and where we bring along the people who have made this country. You know, I joke, and I shouldn't get political, but
and Biden has suggested that the inflationary tether for Social Security be changed from the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, the CPIE, specifically tracks the spending habits of households with people ages 62 and up. Governors and state officials have laid out the new tax rebate plans. This includes who will be eligible for inflation relief and when the checks will be sent out. This week, payments worth up to $1,000 will be arriving for eligible recipients, so make sure to watch to the end to learn how to receive it. Mississippi has announced that it will end its participation in the federal crisis rental assistance program that has kept people facing eviction in their homes during the past 2 years. Now, the state has still $130 million in federal cash to run the program, but the governor said this month will be the latest chance for residents to apply for assistance. Once Mississippi finishes processing the remaining claims, there will be leftover money to the U.S. Treasury. The program's end comes as rental prices in Mississippi have skyrocketed, and a large percentage of those behind the rent or mortgage say they are at risk of losing their homes in the next 2 months. When California introduced the 2021 Golden State Stimulus Program, millions of residents in the lower and middle income brackets received tax rebate checks from the state as part of a scheme designed to redistribute the state's massive $75 billion budget surplus. The scheme distributed one-time checks worth $600 or $1,200, but this is depending on whether an individual filed taxes or filed jointly. However, the stimulus check program left out individuals who received Social Security and disability benefits because their tax returns showed $0 in California's adjusted gross income. To qualify for the scheme last year, California residents were required to
Director of Education Trust New York, thank you for your leadership and your vision and your hard work. It's wonderful for Kathy and I to have partners like you who are on the ground actually implementing the programs that we're trying to pass into law, so thank you for that. I want to thank all the other advocates who are in the room. I appreciate all the work you do every day to help our families thrive. I want to thank the YMCA for the amazing programs and childcare that you offer here, which is wonderful, and you are one of the groups that will be eligible to apply for this money, so it's very important that we're doing here.
Now, there are several income tax breaks that will help millions of low-income households this year as inflation continues to impact the U.S. The Biden administration has confirmed that there are some steps they're taking next to address inflation. The deadline for Maryland residents to claim the student loan debt relief tax credit worth of $1,000 fast approaching. You have until the middle of the month to apply for the credit, which is aimed at easing the financial toll of going to college. To qualify, applicants must have filed their 2022 Maryland state income taxes and have amassed a student loan for at least $20,000 while maintaining $5,000 or more in unpaid debt. However, students are not required to have graduated to receive the credit, and people who went to an out-of-state college or university may receive a smaller credit than those who attended an in-state institution. The National Economic Council Deputy Director offered further insight into what the application process will look like. He said the application will become available for federal borrowers in early October, and borrowers can expect to see relief 4 to 6